Well, it's Mike Tomlin. And so I respect his decision because I know he's an individual that's all about accountability. I completely support him on this. I understand where he was coming from because obviously the temptation is to keep them off the field or whatever. But it's a preseason game, so how much are you really punishing them? From the sound of what he was saying, the way I interpreted it as was giving them the night off from a preseason game was sort of like giving them a break. And who's to say they deserve it? Let them feel the pinch when it really, really counts, Skip Bayless. Make sure they miss a regular season game or two. Support them getting suspended. Reek them through the coals. Do whatever you need to do, but make sure when you do it, it counts. And the reason why I'm comfortable in taking that position is because of one sentence that Mike Tomlin said, and that was this: they will be dealt with. I believe him. It's just that simple to me.
You know what? You make a good case to open the show. But I'm going to stand by mine. I'm a Mike Tomlin fan also. But I must tell you, as I sat and watched the opening of that game last night, I thought it just looked and felt wrong for those two to be allowed to play, albeit in a third preseason game. Not a huge deal, but a deal nonetheless. Stephen A., I must say I was surprised and a little disappointed, maybe going beyond Mike Tomlin, up to ownership, to the Rooney family, to to Dan Rooney, and to Kevin Colbert, the GM. I thought down through the ranks, the message would get sent that we are going to send a message tonight. This will not be tolerated, and they will not be allowed to play tonight, preseason or not preseason, just because you have to take some kind of stand, even a little stand. Yet I must credit Darren Woodson, analyst we often have on the show here, former Dallas Cowboy. On the 6 o'clock Sports Center, he called this. And when he said it, I was shocked. But Darren predicted that Mike Tomlin would say, no, I'm going to punish them by playing them deep into the game. And both players, both running backs, played into the fourth quarter of a preseason game. So congrats to Darren, but to me, I don't get that as punishment. To me, the punishment would have been the shame of having to sit home. You can say, well, you can't let them out of playing in a preseason game. That'll be like a break. No, it'll be shame, because it'll be national shame. It'll be shame in Pittsburgh that you two guys got forced to sit home on your couches and watch this preseason game. Now, to Mike Tomlin's credit here, he has a football team to worry about. This was the dress rehearsal preseason game, as we all know. They were going to put a lot of stock in it. And unfortunately for Mike Tomlin, he got caught with both of his running backs. And they're betting the house on these two running backs. Thunder, as I call them, and Thunder. Like a little more thunder. It's not thunder and lightning, but it's two big bruising backs. And both of them get busted for marijuana possession. So he's in a bad way, because if you do leave both of them home, you also punish your football team, who would be handicapped to try to go through a dress rehearsal game with neither running back. I don't know what you'd do. Little Dree Archer would have to play a little bit of running back, and he's more of a slot receiver. So, again, I get it that Mike Tomlin was in a quandary. I appreciate what you said about his final line. They will be dealt with, and I'm sure they will. But it knocked me back on my couch, man, when I saw that they were both being allowed to play, and to play a whole lot, and to play into the fourth quarter.
Well, let me say this. I get where you're coming from, and I don't totally disagree with it. I would have liked to have seen Mike Tomlin and the Steelers organization make both guys stand front and center and answer questions instead of ducking out and evading it, at least on the part of Le'Veon Bell. I think they should have been made to stand up before the reporters and answer questions as to their stupidity, because it was nothing but stupidity. But let's also acknowledge that I shouldn't say nothing but, because it was also disrespectful to Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, not just to find yourself in this situation, but consider this, Skip. They got pulled over by a cop on a motorcycle who said they drove by him and he could smell the weed from while he was sitting there on his motorcycle. which is why he ultimately pulled them over. Skip, where were they going? They were on their way to the airport for the Steelers game against the Eagles last night. So let me get this straight. You're about to hop on the plane. I assume, I don't know, but I assume it's on the team plane and you're flying and the coach is going to be there. So you're getting high en route to the game, en route to the airport, en route to a plane ride where your coach is going to be on it. You didn't even have the decency to wait until you landed and tried to sneak in and get it in and be away from the coach before you saw him the next day or something. Oh, no, no, no. You are on your way to the plane where ostensibly the coach is going to be, and you're getting high in the middle of the afternoon off some weed, knowing that you're probably going to see the coach. I don't know how much more disrespectful that can be.
I don't
or
either.
how stupid that can be. So those are the kind of details. And I don't want to hear Roger Goodell feeling the need to wait 10 months like he did with Dwayne Bowe, according to John Clayton, or getting suspended for the following season.
Yep.
You suspended Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger didn't get arrested, didn't get indicted, didn't get anything.
Good point.
He was suspended for 6 games. They ultimately reduced it to 4.
Yeah.
There was no waiting period or grace period then. Why should there be with this here? They should be dealt with immediately.